Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm going to start this layout with this awesome flower die cut 12 by 12 piece that comes in the 12 by 12 Oh My Heart paper pad. And I'm going to be using this giant picture. I love this picture. It's my husband kissing our oldest daughter. We were sitting out on the patio and I was just taking some random cute pictures, and I just love how this one turned out. Our theme for this week is to use an extra large photo, and so this is a challenge for me. I haven't used a photo this big in ever, maybe. So yeah, this is definitely different, but I love how it turned out. So what I'm going to do is back all of these open petals with scraps from 6x6 paper pads. My original thought was to just go with the Oh My Heart, and I thought I would create a bunch of multicolor flowers. But then I thought, well, maybe I'll just use a bunch of different pinks for one flower and a bunch of different yellows for another flower and just do kind of a rainbow of flowers. So that's what I'm going to do here. And you can see that this is something that you could do if you only have scraps left. I have all these little bits and pieces of papers that I've used on previous projects, and I just could not throw them away. And they're perfect for doing this because all these little spots in these flowers are small. And so all you need is little bits of paper. So I decided to go for the Fancy Free and the Take Me Away paper pads because I've got scraps and bits and pieces left over from all of those paper pads. And when I was going through looking for the yellow, I wanted a variety of yellows, and so each of these three collections has different shades of all of these colors that I wanted to use. So I'm going to use some solids, some patterns, just whatever I can find that has yellow on it. And see how busy this paper is with the paint strokes on it? All you need is a little bitty piece of it, and you wouldn't even know what paper that it came from. You know, if you like part or a portion of a paper, this is a great technique to do. You can just cut off a little piece of it and use it. And so I've got all of those backed, and now I'm going to cut them apart. And I'm going to make each one its own flower. And this just, you know, took a little bit of time to go through and make sure that each of the papers that I glued behind were, you know, trimmed off the edges because some of them were too big and they were hanging off the sides. But that's what I'm doing here is I'm going through and trimming them off. And some of the petals from, you know, one flower cut into the petal of the next flower, but I just kept trimming it and made it work. So now I decided to add some flair, well, not flair, but some texture type flair, I guess you could say, to each of these flowers. And so I took each color of the flower and put that thread through my sewing machine, and I stitched around the petals of each of the flowers. And I think that really sets them off. There's so much white space on the flowers that this sort of gives a extra little bit of color and just kind of fills in some of the white space and just makes it a little more interesting. And plus I love stitching, and I love how the flowers turned out. I love all those patterns and all those colors. I think they're really, really pretty. Now this background paper that I'm going to use is also from the 12 by 12 Oh My Heart sheet, and it's white, but it has rose gold, shiny, tiny hearts on it. And so I traced around where my picture is going to go, and I'm just going to add a little bit of white gesso around that area because I'm going to come in with some mixed media here. Now this is kind of the idea that I'm going for here. I'm going to kind of layer the flowers over to the left in kind of an arc design. So they are going to cover up some of the left side of the picture, but nothing important. You know, I'm not covering up any faces or anything like that. It's just a little bit of open space. And I'm going to use some gelatos today. The gesso is perfect for this because it just really allows the gelato to spread and blend, and I just use my finger. Very easy to do with the gesso on there first. And I'm dipping my finger just a tad bit in some water to get the flowing started. But, you know, gelatos are great because you can smudge them dry. You don't have to have the water. Just sometimes I like to blend it. It helps it smudge a little bit more. And I'm just trying to get a little bit of color behind the picture there. And now what I'm going to do is kind of very loosely and messily, if that's even a word, go around each petal with a coordinating color and try to create a shadow smudge of color as best I can, because I don't want to cover up all of that white space. I want a lot of the white with the hearts to show, but I just wanted some messy color around those flowers and without it being too busy. I felt like the packaging technique would just kind of make, you know, splotches, and I wanted to keep the shapes of those flowers. And so just drawing and smudging was the best way to go, I thought. And it was just different, you know, it was something different to do, and I like how it turns out. And I haven't glued anything down. I'm just kind of eyeballing where I think those flowers are going to go and just turning my paper as I go and trying to keep everything from moving around. But yeah, if you have the Oh My Heart 12 by 12 paper pad, you're going to get several different sheets of like the flowers here with the die cuts already done. So if you don't have a Cameo or a die cutting machine, it's perfect for that because it's already cut for you. And then you're going to get several sheets with this really pretty rose gold on it. Now I tried to do the packaging technique a little bit, but it really didn't even make a difference because I didn't want to go too much more. So I just scrapped that idea, did a little bit of splatters, and then decided I didn't even really need the splatters because, you know, you can't really see it because I've already got all those little hearts going around, and I think they kind of suffice for splatters. But I still continue to add some coordinating colors with splatters, and so you can't really even tell. I don't think it's that big of a difference. So I'm going to glue that picture down, and I don't use anything behind it. I'm not using any pattern paper. I felt like it's so big and so dramatic with the dark black and white that it looks great the way it is against the background. And I've got so much going on with these flowers. I didn't want to add any more patterns or anything that would distract from that. So I'm going to lightly start glue down or tape down these flowers. And like I say in a lot of my videos, the way this photo is situated, I wanted it to go on the right side of the page because she's looking toward the left and his face is going toward the left, and so it looks like, you know, they're looking across to the flowers. And I just think that creates a nice design element when the eye is following the eyes of the people in the pictures. You kind of draw your eyes to the left to look at the flowers because it looks like she's looking at the flowers. And that may just be something I totally made up, but that's how that's how it makes sense to me when I'm trying to figure out where to put my pictures. And ultimately, a lot of the times that's going to determine, you know, what side my pictures are going to go on, if they're going to go on the upper right, the lower left. It does definitely help with the design. So this is where I started to get really excited. When I started to add things to the center of these pictures, I thought, oh my god, or not the pictures, the flowers. I thought these are perfect. Everything matches so nicely. I'm going to use some of the Oh My Heart chipboard and some of the Take Me Away buttons. And everything just had something to go in the center that matched. And I love how that looks. I've got hearts, I've got buttons, I've got flowers. And I think it just really finishes off each of those flowers and makes them look even better. And I can't complete a layout without adding some thread in there. And so I'm going to come in with some coordinating colors. I've got that light bluish periwinkle color. I'm going to add in some hot pink. And this is just going to give me a little extra pop of color and some texture. Just something extra going on that side without being, you know, too distracting. And I'm using the same color on the same flower. So I've got some light purple going on down there at the bottom. And then I decide, since I've got rose gold going on in the background, I'm going to come in with the Oh My Heart sticker book and add in some more rose gold. I haven't really used a lot of that yet, and so this was the perfect layout to do that. So I'm going to add in a couple flowers, and then I'm going to come in and add in some of the foiled flowers. But I wanted to make sure that everything was glued down, especially with the thread that I just added. So I'm just adding some extra glue to make sure it's all going to stick down. And this is a little sticker that says the little things, and I thought this was perfect because, you know, we're just hanging outside and everyone was laughing and smiling and just enjoying being outside, and it was just one of those fun family moments. And it is a little thing, but in the end it winds up being a big thing because those are the things that are most important, you know, just hanging out together. And so I thought that was a cute little phrase. And I love how these shiny stickers look. Of course, it's hard to see them in the light, but they are super shiny and very pretty. And I struggled with the title for this and where to put it because, you know, I didn't want to cover up a lot of the flowers. I felt like it would blend in. So I went for the Take Me Away thickers. And I used all the ones that had yellow on them because I thought that was a nice spot to put some yellow. And then these are from the Oh My Heart sticker book. My title is going to be super simple. Love this. Because I do love this. And, you know, I struggled, like I said, I was going to use some other words for a title, but they were just too big and too many thickers would just get too busy. And so I just left it at that. I did a little bit of stitching right on top of the picture, right under the picture, and through the love thickers in a couple different colors of thread just to give a little bit of texture and color in that area. And then the last thing I'm going to do is come in and draw some lines and then add a little bit of journaling, and that is going to be it. I loved how this turned out. I would never in a million years have thought to use a picture this big, and I don't even know how big it is. I didn't even measure it. I printed it on an 8x10 sheet of photo paper. I love how this turned out. So thank you to Paige for challenging me, because she gives us prompts sometimes and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is this me? Can I even do this? And then I wind up loving it. And so don't be afraid to take on a challenge, because sometimes you're going to create your most favorite layouts from something that you would never have even thought of. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was really fun to put together. I love mixing and matching all the collections. They go together so nicely. And yeah, so don't be afraid to print out a really big picture like this and see what you can come up with. So let me know if you have any questions. I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great weekend.